Hey everyone, what's going on? Today's Thursday, January 30th, and last night on Wednesday we had, the 12th episode of Arrow. It was titled Tremors. Um, oh man, like I said last week, they do not disappoint. These guys that work on the show are just incredible. Uh, they have made every single episode eye popping, jaw dropping, heart throbbing, intense. Every episode, every week, I can't wait for the next episode. Because I can't wait to see what happens. Anyway, last week we saw, towards the end, that Oliver actually enlists in training. Or, he doesn't enlist. Helps. He wants to help Roy control his rage and his abilities now that Roy has been injected with the Mirakuru. So, it was interesting. The beginning of the episode starts with Roy starting his first lesson, and his first lesson turns out to be what Shadow taught Oliver on the island. Slapping slapping a bowl of water, until it's empty, and then, refill it, do it over again. So there's probably an idea that Oliver wants to make Roy also uh, a great archer just as well as he is. And, obviously Roy is not, patient enough right now to do these sort of lessons. He wants to hit something that will hit back. That's what he says. Not only that, what surprised me, in fact, in this episode, Moira, Oliver's mother, gets a call from Walter, the British guy, Thea, and Oliver's, I guess, ex-stepdad from last season, and he came back in one of the earlier episodes of season 2. He calls Moira for a dinner date, and everyone's surprised, I was too, but turns out when she gets there, she meets a man named Mark Francis, which Arrow did do a nice DC comic reference, because it turns out Mark Francis is actually someone who worked on Superman Birthright. So that was a nice little reference there. I was very enlightened to all that when I heard his name. So it turns out Mr. Francis actually proposes, not a deal, but he proposes a position to Moira to take up arms against Sebastian Blood for mayor. He wants Moira to run for mayor, basically. Obviously, she's very hesitant about it. She's not crazy about it because of her past and what happened during the undertaking. But, she gets some help, some encouragement from Thea, because she thinks it's a good idea for her mom to do this. For retribution, for some redemption of what happened last year, you know? Also, back on the island, Slade disappeared with the Mirakuru, and so Oliver thinks it's a good idea to try and track him down, find him, and tell him who's responsible, really, for Shadow's death. And Sarah, tells him, you shouldn't do this. And there's a line that goes throughout the whole episode, basically. Love is the most powerful emotion and could be a strong weapon, too. So Oliver takes that to heart and really thinks about that and realizes it's probably a bad idea to tell Slade that because, Slade also loved Shadow very much. Yeah. So not only a bunch of other stuff is happening, but also we see Bronze Tiger again, everyone. He escaped from Iron Heights prison, and I love this guy. He's like the DC Comics version of Wolverine, almost. Now, maybe not the whole adamantium thing, but everything else, he's quick, full of rage, and he's obviously the 3 claws. So, he escaped from Ironhide's prison, and he's hired to steal a prototype machine. And it turns out it's actually at Malcolm Merlin's mansion. Oliver finds this out, and he thinks Roy is ready for a field test, basically, with his new abilities. And he brings Roy along to the Merlin mansion. But when they encounter Bronze Tiger and some of his lackeys, doesn't turn out so well. Roy nearly kills someone again this week, and in that result, since Roy got so caught up in trying to just take out one man, Bronze Tiger got away with turns out to be a prototype machine from the earthquake device Merlin used for the undertaking. And, that scares the hell out of Oliver, because he knows exactly what can happen if someone started that device up. So, obviously the next day, Oliver's not happy with Roy, and he believes, Roy's not ready for any of this, but he wants to stop what happened to Slade. And he doesn't want that to happen to Roy. Also, at the same time, Roy actually he tries to tell Thea about everything, but he realizes, he's got to protect her. And the best way to do that, he tries to get Thea out of town, and, he almost hurts her. Like last week, Thea is just scared for Roy and for his life, basically. There really is a whole lot going on in every episode. But I will touch up on what's been happening with Laurel. We did see that she was arrested for drugs, and in the aftermath, in this episode, she's visited by her dad. Quentin actually proposes, let's go out to dinner. And turns out it's not a dinner. He tricks Laurel into going to a kind of an addict AA meeting kind of thing. And obviously, that pisses her off, and she ends up actually going to the Verdant, goes to Oliver's club, and, she's basically drinking her ass off. And Thea calls Oliver for help, and in doing so, Oliver calls for someone else to help. And at the end of the episode, we see who helps out. It's a mutual friend of both Laurel and Oliver, and didn't expect that coming. So, Bronze Tiger got his hands on the earthquake device, and gets it to the guy who wants to sell it. And also, Oliver tracked down where the deal would be happening, and he goes in alone this time, because obviously Roy isn't ready. And in doing so, during the attack, he gets hit a little bit by Bronze Tiger, and, actually Roy shows up and saves the day. Well, he doesn't save the day. Well, okay, yes, he saves the day, but he saves Oliver's life as well. And after Roy, again, is nearly almost kills Bronze Tiger, and Oliver has to make a choice in this moment, and like I said, everyone, jaw-dropping. I'm not gonna tell you what happened, because you gotta see for yourself. It's a great moment in the episode. Let's just say there's a lot of work to do between Roy and Oliver and all the training that Roy has to go through. So, in the end, Bronze Tiger is in jail, and turns out he gets a visitor. Gets a visitor from Amanda Waller, everyone. Yep. Cynthia Robinson is back reprising her role as Amanda Waller, and she wants Bronze Tiger to join a team, or a so-called squad. And we all know what that is, everyone. The Suicide Squad. We saw pieces of it in Smallville in a few episodes back then. Who knows? We could see a Suicide Squad form up maybe at the end of this season or sometime next season. Who knows? But we also know that Waller also did visit Deadshot when he was in Russia. So we know that it's Bronze Tiger and Deadshot is in the picture. And like I said, Laurel gets home safe from the club and gets a visitor from a mutual friend. Can't wait for next week's episode, everyone. It's just great. The title is well, I'm not sure. Sorry about that. But we meet Nisa Al Ghul, everyone. Yes, Ra's al Ghul's daughter. Oh man. The League of Shadows is back, and it turns out they kidnapped Laurel and Laurel's mom to get to Sarah, because we all know she's still alive, and they do this so that Sarah can come back, basically. And who knows what could happen. So that's about it for me, everyone. I'm heading out, and I'll see you all later. Bye.